So, what's it? What is it? It is what? What is it? Looks like some guy holding up a magazine article in front of a camera lens, and you just got a glimpse of him behind the fine newsprint that he's flashing in front of the camera. So I guess there really are no secrets, there are no surprises. You can see the top of his head right there, and, well, there's some of the arm and a finger, so might as well just ditch all the pretense and get right down to the nitty-gritty of the situation and welcome you to this week's episode of Tent Talks Tunes. Yes! I said it before, I'll say it again. Disco does not suck. That statement has absolutely nothing to do with anything relating to today's program, but I just thought I would throw that in there. Please allow me to reach over to the monitor and make sure that I'm going out live. I think I am. The old internet's been kind of fail-safe for the past several, maybe even many weeks. Not that I want to get optimistic about the chances for success on this thing, but so far so good. I see my main man, Mike Lesser from Vancouver, BC, is tuned in. Hello, Mike. And I do see some activity there. I saw a thumb. I see a couple of people who have liked things, so I guess I must be live. You might wonder just exactly what this thing is. Well, I'll tell you. Me and my love for print media, for real-life, honest-to-God magazines and publications, I'm delighted to report that the new issue of Outsider magazine from the Hudson Valley of New York State is out. And not only is it out, it's got an article written by little old me, yes, about, as you might have guessed, Nirvana, and the fateful night that I was in the audience when they played a small venue in New Haven called the Moon, a few days after a slight little itty-bitty album called Nevermind had been released, but before anybody had really heard it. They had a single called Smells Like Teen Spirit that was just starting to get a little bit of radio play on the college stations, but kind of the same deal. Nobody had really heard it. They hadn't played the video on MTV yet. So this is just like another, I think it was a Thursday night in New Haven, catching some of what was going to be known as alternative rock soon enough, or grunge soon enough. It was just a thing. My band, the Bunny Brains, had just finished recording our album a couple nights prior, and we thought it'd be fun to go out and celebrate by catching a band in New Haven, which was Nirvana. Doubly so because our friends in the almighty Head, H-E-D, Head, a band who you should look up right now, Head, not the band Head, P-E, but just plain old Head, H-E-D, from Danbury, Connecticut. They were opening for Nirvana, so it was a pretty cool festive night. And by some strange whim of circumstance, I ended up there with a video camera and videotaped most of Nirvana's set. And at the last tally, there was something like 1 million views on YouTube of that video. And if I could just get everybody out there who's ever watched that video to send me a nickel. 1 million nickels. You know, is that too much to ask? Even back at the turn of the century when a nickel was worth about $5 in today's dollars, people would take a nickel and stick it to the Nickelodeon and watch a little 1-minute film strip. You could give me a nickel and watch the entire Nirvana video. And if 1 million people did that, I'd be sitting pretty. Just saying. But I bear no malice. I have no remorse. I don't have a single regret. It's sort of my contribution to rock and roll history. And it's all written about in the latest issue of Outsider magazine. So if you're anywhere near the Hudson Valley, go get you one. If you aren't near the Hudson Valley and you want one, talk to me. I got a bundle of them, and we could probably work out an arrangement to send you something. My pal Mike Muldoon says he was there. Yes, indeed. Apparently the back of his head is visible in the video, yeah? Is that true? I think it is. Ms. Kit E. Cat, hello, hello. Murray Gelman, welcome. Yeah, it's James Pogo, hello. Yep, it's a bone of contention. A lot of people say that Head were better than Nirvana that night. We'll just leave it at that. We'll leave it for the scholars to debate that. And I think I've done like an entire episode of Tent Talks Tunes devoted to that Nirvana video. So if you go to my fabulous YouTube channel, you can look it up. The video is, of course, on YouTube, and it's over 1 million now, I'm sure. And I just wrote about it in Outsider magazine. So get literate, get a little of that good newsprint ink on your fingers, and read a genuine physical object. It's a lot more fun than squinting at your monitor, reading a damned Wikipedia entry. I wonder if there's a Wikipedia entry about the Nirvana show at the Moon. I should look it up. Or maybe somebody can look it up and post a link. I know a lot of you guys are internet sleuths, and you know a lot about how to do these things, whereas I don't necessarily. Maybe you do. Hello, we got Moose Roberts. The lovely and talented Moose Roberts is in the house. Moose is a fine singer-songwriter in his own right. Hello, Moose. Kyle Hilton from Seattle is in the house. So we got a pretty good crew going here for this week's episode of Tent Talks Tunes. I grab my jug of Danbury Tap and raise a toast to you. All right, so you might have guessed we're rolling steady right now, guys. We're already in the home stretch. I was born in the home stretch. I was born to go down that last straightaway and hit the finish line. We are checking the bulletin board, and the entire episode of Tent Talks Tunes tonight is dedicated to one item I got in the mail. So that's going to be the mailbox check. Let's take a look at some of the things that are going on in the world of tent, and which could be intersecting with the world that you live in. I've gotten pretty good at arranging the old bulletin board for the last 2 weeks or so. I've got it to where things are chronologico. Yes, chronological. Coming up sooner than you might think. September 22nd and 23rd at the Beachland Ballroom in Cleveland, Ohio. Devotional 2023, the annual gathering of devotees. People who live, love, larf, and loaf. All about DEVO from OHIO. I will be making a presentation from the stage on Saturday, September 23rd, which, by the way, is my birthday. Just saying. I'll be making a special presentation from the stage early in the day on September 23rd. And also throughout the day, I'll be overseeing the official release of the Devoted LP and the Devoted CD. It's a mini album. Features 3 songs with the lead vocals and bass guitar playing of Gerald V. Casale, a founder, member, and chief strategist of Devo. Also on 3 songs, if I'm getting my stats right here, David Kendrick, drummer for Devo from 1986 to 96, and then off and on here and there ever since then. Also drummed for Sparks. He's on this album. Devo co-founder Bob Lewis got on stage for the first time in 40 years. That recording is on here as well. This will be making its debut at the Devotional September 22nd and September 23rd. Come out to Cleveland to the Beachland Ballroom and see me, and we'll talk about it. That's going to be an awful lot of fun. And then when that's over, I'm going to hop into my vehicle and drive due south to the great city of Charlotte, North Carolina, the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina, where I will get into heavy-duty preparations, rehearsals, agitations, prognostications, all kinds of things needed to be done to prepare the world for the Anti-Scene 40th anniversary concert. Here's an up-close and personal look at the flyer. September 30th at the Ground Zero in Spartanburg, South Carolina. 40 years of Destructo Rock, featuring the top 40 of Anti-Scene. We are playing 40 songs to celebrate 40 years. I'm playing on not all of them, but most of them. We have 3 separate lineups from the past being represented. Quite a few Anti-Scene alum will be there on stage. We're going to have an autograph signing, photo ops, the works. Special guest openers, Sweet Georgia Brown and Joe Buck Yourself. Literally a once-in-a-lifetime event. There will never, ever again be an Anti-Scene 40th anniversary gig. So, since you already know what's good for you, I'm not going to say if. You do know what's good for you. If you are watching Tent Talks Tunes, then I know that you know, and we all know that you know what's good for you. You already know it. So that's why I don't have to exhort you to be at the Ground Zero in Spartanburg on the 30th. I know you're going to be there. And I look forward to seeing you and all the other rabid anti-scene fanatics. It's going to be bodacious. Well, I'll have maybe a little bit less than a week, maybe a week-ish to recover from that. And the best way I know to recover from a gala event like that is to go to the Counterweight Brewery Record Fair, hosted by my good friends at Red Scroll Records. That's October 8th at the Counterweight Brewery in Cheshire, Connecticut. I will be setting up an 8-foot table that will be chock full of... Are you ready for this? Are you people ready for this? Do you want to hear what my 8-foot table is going to be chock full of? I'm going to take a sip of water to prepare myself for this. Prepare you for this, too. Because I really only decided to do this a few days ago, but the decision has been made, and I'm going to do it for real. And it's been a long time coming, but it is going to happen. October 8th at the Counterweight Brewery in Cheshire, Connecticut, I am bringing not my usual amazing assortment of new and used vinyl, reasonably priced CDs and cassettes, and the full line of TPOS merch, which of course can be found on Discogs, eBay, and Bandcamp. No. I'm not bringing my usual mind-blowing assortment of incredible, carefully curated music. I am bringing what I always called my 401k stash. Over the entire history of Trash American Style, my brick and mortar store, I indulged myself, because I'm a collector. I'm not just a guy who likes to buy and sell. I like to collect. I got a problem. I like to collect. I really like it. And so for the 21 years I was behind the counter, and for several years after that, whenever anything that looked remotely interesting in the vinyl front especially came through, I'd sock aside a copy or two for my personal collection. And, I've been curating. I said it again. What a millennial term, to curate, right? You don't collect anymore, you curate. You don't sell anymore, you curate. You know what I'm talking about? I've become a curator. Anyway, for all those years I curated all these boxes and crates and stacks and mounds and heaps of records and tapes and magazines and flyers. And you know what? I've had my fun with them. I've loved them. I've lived them. I've taken good care of them. I've enjoyed them. It's time for them to go. The Malcolm Tent personal stash of records, which is mostly of the punk and hardcore persuasion, has got to go. It's got to go. I love the stuff, but I don't want to lug it no mo. And just to give you guys an example of what you can look forward to, now I'm not 100% sure that I'm bringing the 7-inch singles on this go-round. I might not have room enough to bring the 7-inch singles. But just to give you guys an example of my collecting/hoarding tendency for 21 years, I just grabbed a random box. This is one random box of 7-inch singles that I basically don't want anymore. And you can see the outside of the box is labeled Mental to No FX. Let's just take a little dip. I'm going to do some random dipping into this box. This is all the stuff I'm getting rid of. I'll start at the beginning. Mental. Oh, it's a 7-inch by the band Mental. And that goes, of course, into Mental Decay. Let's just randomly grab a few others. Here's a Mucky Pup single. I collected all this stuff, man. What is this? There's some kind of Negative FX 7-inch. This one dates back almost to the very beginning of Trash American Style. It was one of the first orders I ever got. It was from the Toxic Shock distribution, and Negazione 7-inch. And then going into No FX, I was a total sucker for belonging to any singles club. So I, of course, joined the No FX Singles Club. So I got all these No FX Singles Club records and the original mailers, All original. I'm sure these things have been reissued at one time or another, probably multiple times, but these are the originals from the Singles Club in the original mailers. I think I got the whole set. I'm not really sure. Most of my Revelation stuff got parceled out over the years because I loved collecting Revelation records. So I still got a couple of nuggets here and there. So that's just one of the many 7-inch boxes that are going to be liquidated. And I was kind of agonizing over it. I thought, well, you know, the best way to do it, how about eBay? No, I don't like eBay. I don't like giving all those percentages to eBay and to PayPal, and you got to mail the stuff, and there's a lot of scammers on eBay. Could do it on Discogs, but it's kind of the same deal. Discogs recently almost doubled their fees, and of course there's PayPal fees on top of that and mailing. And it's not personal. I want to actually deal with my peeps face-to-face in real life. So yeah, this counterweight record show is the way to do it. Here's a random crate of LPs and 12-inch singles. There's the view from the top. Let's see, what do we got in here? Sealed Judge. Well, it wasn't not sealed anymore. Sealed Judge, bringing it down. It's a reissue. It's not original, but it is. It's from 2001. It's on colored vinyl, whatever. I'm sure I've got some original first pressings. Here's a Judge double album anthology that I really would rather somebody find a good home for this. Kiss It Goodbye album. What's in the back here? Los Crudos. Handmade, hand screen cover. I saw these guys play live once. They were really good. They were awesome. Really good stuff. Here's another Los Crudos. It's great stuff, you know. It's really, really cool, and I've enjoyed every single one of these to one degree or another. But they got to go. So that's what's happening on October 8th at the Counterweight Brewery Record Show, hosted by my pals Red Scroll Records. Another once-in-a-lifetime event because, you know, I can only sell a personal collection once in a lifetime, at least in its current form. So tell all your friends. And of course, after that, what's the best way to recover from one record show? Do another one. October 21st, the Danbury Records CD and Expo. I co-promote it. I will be there in full effect with 3, count them 3, solid tables of stuff. Maybe more of the personal collection, maybe the regular spread. I don't know. If that ain't enough going on, I don't know what is. And I got one last thing to say. A couple weeks ago, I did the punk rock flea market at the Bethlehem Fairgrounds, and it was great fun under the fresh blue sky. Saw tons and tons of cool people, including one guy who asked me personally if I had any original Hatebreed demo tapes. Well, the answer is yes, I do. And young man, if you're out there, you said you would be in touch. Well, here's some incentive for you to be in touch. Because the demo collection, kind of the same deal. I've enjoyed it. I love them. Demos are one of my favorite things to collect, but they got to go. They just got to go. They're taking up space in my basement, and I want someone to have these with deep pockets, mind you. I must reiterate or iterate in the first place that I'm not running a tag sale here. You know, this is good, serious stuff. So I want some good, serious coin. But yeah, dude, if you're out there, I got them. Talk to me. Talk to me. Let's see. Amy Lynn Meyer says that if he isn't, to let you know. Amy, you are officially number 2 in line. Promise. Start saving. All right. Enough of the fall-de-roll. Let's get into the meat of the matter, which is Tent Talks Tunes, man. Let's talk about these artifacts and stuff and the fun things that they are. Maybe I should... No, I'm not going to keep them. I'm not going to keep them. They got to go. They got to go. So you might ask, Malcolm Tent, you old creep, how is it that you end up with so much stuff? How is it that you end up with so much stuff? The answer, my friends, is not blowing in the wind. It's at the thrift shop. It's at the flea market. It's at the yard sales. It's at the tag sales. It's all out there in the world. Before I opened up the record store and started doing this thing professionally, I was always a habitué of the thrift shops and the yard sales and the flea markets. And, you know, I just love it. I love browsing through other people's old junk. And I love just fishing the nuggets out of there. You know, a lot of stuff that I get at the flea markets and whatnot, probably nobody else in the world would be interested in, but I'm interested in them. And, yeah, it does tend to pile up. So, I don't know exactly where I was going with this, but, you know, I guess the word kind of got out, maybe because I've talked about it so much on Tent Talks Tunes. And so people like my good pal, Dennis Hyland. Dennis, the USA CEO of Jackhammer Music, a super cool Japanese record label. They specialize in a lot of great stuff. He also plays a wicked guitar for the band Future Hate. Check them out. Good stuff. We've had the pleasure of sharing the stage with them a couple of times in Mobile. So, Dennis Hyland doesn't even have to be your mind reader. He knows what I like. He knows I like the thrift shops. He knows I like the tag sales. He knows I like the flea markets. So what did he do? He got a couple of boxes of thrift shop records and mailed them to me. And we've done this before. We've done our thrift shop in a box. We've done our yard sale in a box. And it was a lot of fun, and everybody out there seemed to dig it. So we're going to do a cold unveiling of the thrift shop in what is apparently 2 boxes. I'm going to show you right now to let you know this is not a fix. This is not rigged. This is a sealed box. You can see the tape completely sealed. Each box sealed, and sealed very well, I might say. Dennis is a guy who knows how to pack a box. I'm very happy to say that the overwhelming majority of people who I deal with know how to pack a box. You guys are okay in my book. I will raise a toast to you. Terry Myers wants to know if I have a copy of Not So Quiet on the Western Front. You know what? I don't think I do. Classic double album that came out on the Maximum Rock and Roll label. And, you know, back in the day, that one came out just a little bit before I had discovered that particular brand of hardcore. The one I did get was Welcome to 1984. That's in the personal collection. That one's not for sale. Welcome to 1984 made my brain go kapow. And to this day, I can put it on and get goosebumps. Man, I love that album. But yeah, Not So Quiet, I missed that one. And I never had one in my collection for whatever reason. I don't know. Probably because whenever one would come in, I would flip it. Because, you know, even though I was able to keep a lot of records for myself, in the days of the store, I couldn't keep them all. You know, you had to sell something. You had to pay the bills somehow. So, yeah. Sorry, dude. I ain't got that one. I'll keep my eye open just in case. So anyway, thrift shop in a box. I think this might be some Jackhammer stuff. Let's find out. Jackhammer is a great label. I'm going to go grab the 100,000 mile box cutter. So many miles that this box cutter has gone through. 1 foot at a time. Every time I open a box, it's a foot, or maybe more than a foot. And those feet add up. There are many miles in this box cutter. James Pogo says that Welcome to 1984 rules. It really does. That album came out before there really was such a thing as generic hardcore. These are all international bands who were basically writing the book on how to play that style of hardcore. Mike Lesser says he's not giving up his Not So Quiet on the Western Front. I don't blame you, dude. I don't blame you. Oh, and Terry Myers does point out that the very first copy of Maximum Rock and Roll was included with that compilation album. Because I guess the radio show came first, didn't it? It was Maximum Rock and Roll Radio originally, and then they did the comp album, and then they did the zine afterwards. I believe that's right, yeah? I also have down in my archive at least one solid box of original Maximum Rock and Roll Radio cassettes, which I could probably part with those. I mean, they're such cool artifacts, and there's so much amazing music on Maximum Rock and Roll Radio. I mean, because bands in the early 80s would send their demo cassettes and stuff to MRR to be played on the radio show long before they ever got signed. You know, bands like the Butthole Surfers and the Crucifix, and I'm just pulling names out of that, like Negative Approach. Like, so many of these bands got their first ever exposure on Maximum Rock and Roll Radio before they did records. And so these cassettes have got some really genuinely irreplaceable stuff on them. And so the archivist in me loves the Maximum Rock and Roll Radio cassettes. But, it kind of begs the question, when am I ever going to, like, listen to all of them? And, and then what am I actually going to do with them, except know that I've got them? So that might be a gift that has to keep on moving. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it. James Pogo says he would be interested. Well, James Pogo, you know very well how to get a hold of me. Let's talk. Let's make a deal that neither of us can refuse. Serious about that, man. I am deadly serious. Moose Roberts is messaging me right now, says he's sending me some mail. All right, Moose, we're going to do a cold unveiling of the package you send me when I get it on Tent Talks Tunes. Moose makes some quality stuff, so I'll be very happy to expose the world to it when the time is right. Woo-wee! A lot of stuff going on here, gang. Okay, first box. Cold unveiling from Dennis Hyland of Jackhammer Music. Is it the Thrift Shop in a Box Part 1? Let's find out. The blade is out. Oh, wait. Art Edinger, anti-scene fan emeritus, is from Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is saying that he embezzled certain MRR tapes when he was the operations manager of his college radio station, and they were airing MRR radio. Art, there's a time when I would have been offended over the fact that you did such a thing. But now, considering that almost every college radio station on the planet just simply threw their hard copies of records, tapes, and CDs into a dumpster somewhere, I say, good job, man. You rescued those tapes from a dumpster. So bravo. And yes, there is definitely some amazing stuff on those cassettes. I might have to fish them out and give them at least a listen at some point. Anyway, the blade has now been protracted once again. Just to show you guys it's not a fix. We're delicately running the blade along the seam. That away. This away. Taking good care not to slice my jugular. That would be very exciting live internet web streaming, but it wouldn't be good for my health. So let's see what's in it. What's in the box? We're opening it. Need a little more cut here. We are opening it. And we can pretty much guess by the shape and size of the box exactly what is in here, but maybe not exactly what's in here. Oh, yes. I think Dennis warned me about this. Now, what is this? This is an LP by the Aloychastistas. Aloychastistas. Who knows what this is? I don't know what this is. I have no idea what this is. This is one of the Sweet Mysteries of Life from 2022. It's got a song called Mirror Ball Neurons. Aloychastistas. Aloychastistas. I'm sure I mangled that. Well, Dennis, you've challenged me. I'm going to have to listen to this and see just exactly what the H it is. Very curious. Oh, no Matrix. You know what? I was just looking at a demo tape of theirs in my massive, ridiculous demo collection. I have a demo by these guys. Who are they? Who is No Matrix? Who can help me with some information? This is the Throughput EP. I don't recognize the names. This is from 2019. It's on pretty cool yellow vinyl. Somehow, I don't know how, I now have a No Matrix demo cassette and a 7-inch. All right, now I have to listen to this and solve the mystery of who No Matrix is. All right, Dennis, you're really making me think a little bit here. Dennis says Future Hate did a split with them, right? And the demo, and now the 7-inch. All right, Dennis, thank you. Now, this is the really mysterious and enigmatic one, and this is the kind of record Dennis knows exactly what I like. He knows I like the outsider. He knows I like the weird. He knows I like the sincere. not ironic, not sarcastic, but sincere weirdos. And I think this guy right here, Tim Mohon, fits the bill. A single called No One, back to the song called The Elders. And Dennis did some research on this guy and found some very interesting information. Dennis, I don't know if you want to share some of the info, but I was pretty intrigued by this guy's story. Yes, it's on a major label, is the label of it. I just love that 80s typeface, those fonts, the layouts. That's legit 80s vinyl, kids. Hand-drawn logo. Very, very cool. And, you know, the name alone, The Elders, just really intrigues me. It's an instrumental. Dedicated to open minds, it says on the label. The A-side is dedicated to Susan Beard. Susan Beard, where are you? There's a record dedicated to you by Tim Mohon. Although he does look kind of pissed off. I don't know. Maybe it's an argument song. We'll find out. We'll definitely be spinning this along with those others. All right, the mystery deepens. This is the kind of stuff I totally live, love, and am all up. Dennis has a link to Tim Mohon. All right, this is cool. This is cool. But I'm not going to look at the link until I hear the record, because I want to get the full effect of who this mystery man is, and who is Susan Beard, and who are the Elders, and where is this guy from? There's no address or nothing on it. Very intriguing. Interesting to note that side A is credited to T. Mohon. The other side is credited to Tim Mohon. Maybe it means something. Mysterious and enigmatic. And by the way, just in case you're wondering, nothing on the back. You got the pissed off Tim on the front. You got nothing on the back. Trademark of quality, kids. All right. So we've already had some very interesting aperitifs here to the thrift shop in a box. What do the thrift shops in Mobile, Alabama have to offer us? My, my, my. If you're going to say that I can't wait to find out, you're right. And I'm not going to wait. We're doing this. Blade open again. Remember, this is a sealed box. I don't know what's going on here. I have no idea what could possibly be in here. Whatever it is, it better be good if it's going to top old Tim Mohon. Opening the box. You can see the box is opening. Unfolding the box. And this is kind of difficult to do because I do have to look a little bit. We have a stack of stuff right here, okay? And I am not looking. My eyes are closed. I'm going to put the packaging over here. I'm going to put the stack on my lap, okay? And just to make it even more foolproof, I'm going to take this record here. The one that we know nothing about, the Aloychatistas. I'm going to put it on top. So I can't see what's in the pile of records. I'm going to blindly reach underneath the Aloychatistas record, blindly, and start pulling them out. I'm going to flash them at the camera. So you guys are actually going to see them before I do. All I'm going to see is the back. You're going to see the front. All right, so what is this? Did I do this right? Ah, see, this is good. Commander Cody and the Lost Planet Airmen, an album called Ozone. I've never heard this album. This is a Spirit spin-off. And I was actually just thinking about Spirit earlier today because Spirit or Commander Cody, depending on which record company executive you're talking to, did an album called Adventures in Potato Land, which was recorded sometime in the early 70s, but didn't come out because it was just too damn weird. And so Rhino did a reissue of it, or an issue of it sometime in the early 80s in a somewhat adulterated, re-recorded version or whatever. But it's a weird-ass record. And it's so weird, The Adventures in Potato Land, that really made me curious about good old Commander Cody. And by the looks of this cover and the name of it, it could quite very well be weird as well. So this is going to be fun to listen to. Who did the cover art? The cover art looks like it might be by the same guy who did the Blood Rock album called USA. Does anybody know? Is this the same artist as the guy who did Blood Rock USA? Let's see if we can get an album cover credit on here. I do not see a credit for the album cover artist. But if you guys have ever seen the Blood Rock USA album with the sort of Superman type character blowing his brains out, definitely looks like the same guy. Intriguing. And this is on the somewhat short-lived and maybe ill-fated Paramount label. Paramount was able to crank out a pretty fair number of releases, but I don't think they had a single hit ever. I think they're probably best known for issuing Elton John's, I think, first ever album. It was called Friends, a soundtrack to some movie that no one ever saw. That was on Paramount originally. Sold about 0 copies. Commander Cody. Cool. That augurs well for good listening. And Amy Lynn Meyer says that Terry, her hubby, grabbed a Spirit record over the weekend. Which one? What Spirit record was it? Inquiring minds want to know. If it was Potato Land, I might faint, because that's a little too much synchronicity. All right, we're blindly reaching underneath the Alloy Chatistas record for the next one. Let me see, I'm going to make at least an attempt to hold it right side up. Oh, ooh, boy, I could get in trouble for showing this one. The original Blind Faith. Yes, indeedy do. With a hype sticker on it. Could this conceivably be a promo? Let's find out. I'm going to say right now that we've talked a lot about how much I despise Eric Clapton and pretty much anything that he had anything to do with. But this record has such an interesting history, all centered around the cover and the fact that they had to reissue it with an alternate cover. It's an original yellow Atco, not a white label. That kind of reminds me too. I don't think I've ever seen a white label Atco. Does anybody know anything about that? Are there any white label Atcos from the 60s/70s? Curious. I mean, the fact that they went through the trouble to put the sticker on the back definitely indicates to me that it's a promo. But no white label. What does it mean? What does it mean? I don't know what it means. So this is pretty cool. Strictly in terms of being an artifact, it is G. Ruvi Garuve. All right, here we go. Another blind reveal. I'm reaching under the Alloy Chatistas record. And I'm going by feel. I'm looking for the seam. So either you're seeing the front cover or the back cover, and it's either upside down or right side up. What is it? What is it? Lulu Wena. A Rhapsody in Black. This is very intriguing. I have no idea what this is. It's on Columbia. Columbia actually did some pretty good cutting-edge stuff. I should say CBS. So it's European. Ooh, this looks serious. This looks like some real... It's either genuine African music or some kind of African hybrid music. It's got a song called Lulu the Zulu, Jesus the Christ, and then some more traditional songs with titles like Gyapule, Jabula, Mamoriri, and then The Ritual, Brothers and Sisters. Music and lyrics by Bertha Egnos, Gail Lakier, and Andy Chabelli. I don't know any of these words, any of these people, any of these artists. I know nothing about them. That looks pretty cool. I love authentic ethnic music. Oh, there's a booklet explaining who Lulu Wena is with a really awesome cigarette ad on the back. Yes. Kill your audience. Make them smoke. Interesting. From Durban. What country is Durban in? My geography is not the strongest in the world. Durban. Where's Durban? I don't know where Durban is. Very interesting. Okay, cool. My hope is that it's extremely percussive. Because I really got a thing for like Ghanese percussion and Native American percussion. Man, I love that stuff. Orange CBS label. What country is it from? Does not say, which indicates to me that it's probably British. Probably. 1976. Very interesting. All right, Dennis. You're definitely keeping it going. South Africa. Thank you, Neil. Neil from Buffalo, New York, pointing out that it is South African. It might even be a South African pressing. Because I have seen South African pressings, and they never identify themselves as being from South Africa. So intriguing. Very intriguing. Boy, the turntable's going to be busy for the next few days. All right, here we go. Another blind grab. Eyes closed, doing it by feel. There's the seam. You guys see it first. What do you see? You see the back of a record upside down, but now we know it's Mose Allison. Yes. Mose Allison, great jazz man. Really off-kilter sense of humor. Very intelligent. His stuff is a little more laid back than what I like, but his lyrics are killer and his concepts are unbeatable. And, you know, here you go. Some of the song titles that will draw you in. Wild Man on the Loose. Your Mind is on Vacation. Everybody is Crying Mercy. Middle Class White Boy. See, this is not your standard album of standards. This is weird stuff. And not only that, Mose Allison, for all you Clash fans, did you know that Mose Allison is the guy who hand drew the entire Armageddon Times insert that came in the Clash Sandinista album? Or maybe he drew the cartoons. It was something like that. He at least did the cartoons for the Clash Sandinista record. So right off the bat, he gets brownie points. Cool, thank you. All right, here we go, another one. All right, where's the seam? Okay, here's one of those Udi-Pack gatefolds. So I'm going to guess this is probably the front. It's got to be the front. The back says Space Opera. The front says Space Opera. What the F is the Space Opera? Brett Wilson, Philip White, Scott Fraser, and David Bullock. I don't know any of those names. Does anybody know who these people are? My Telephone Artist. That's a pretty intriguing title. UK pressing of some sort. No, US pressing. Unipack, there they are. Looking kind of progressive. What do you think? Think these guys are prog? I wonder. Epic is what it is. And Epic, oh yeah, there you go. The old style yellow Epic label. Pretty interesting. 1973. I wonder. This is kind of a weird one because your average Epic CBS record from 73 had a really uniform sort of package. It was usually just a one-piece sleeve with, you know, the front cover, and then the back would have a picture of the band with a lot of liner notes. So this is different from your run-of-the-mill CBS type album from the 70s. Which does intrigue me. My Telephone Artist has come and gone. Holy River. I wonder. All right. A mysterious and enigmatic record from 1973. Space Opera. You know, L. Ron Hubbard claimed to have invented space jazz when everybody really knows that Sun Ra invented space jazz. I wonder who invented space opera. Maybe those guys. I don't know. All right, dude, another blind grab. We still got a few to go here. This feels like a gatefold. All right, it's a gatefold. It's a regular gatefold. That's the back. This is the front. So it should be right side up. I can't tell what it is, but I'm going to guess Osibisa. Is it an Osibisa record? It is an Osibisa record. Yay! I'm good sometimes. Yeah, Osibisa. This is another one of those records by another one of those bands that I've seen around an awful lot, but have still never heard. There they are in the front, looking very ethnic African. Great cover art. Love it. Oh, it's on Decca. That's weird. Decca's kind of like Paramount. Decca was a label founded by, run by, and mostly catering to trite, fossilized, old white people. And it's amazing that they had any hits at all because their worldview was so backwards and retrograde. Just by pure dumb luck, they had The Who on their label and sold an awful lot. And they did sell a lot of country western. So how they ended up with Osibisa is beyond me. It's one of those albums that you do see around a bit. Now I get to hear it. Thank you, Dennis. You know, it's funny, I've used the term trademark of quality a lot of times, but typically when you see the Decca label like that, it's the trademark of lack of quality. I'm going to bet $1 or $2 that OCB will be an exception to that rule. Very curious. All right, let's continue onward here. Another blind grab. Let's see, this one is a single pocket record. I'm just going to take a wild shot in the dark and say that's the front. I don't know. It's not. It's the back. It's upside down. Ah, now, this is cool. This is really cool. Now, Dennis Hyland must have known, or maybe you didn't. Dennis, I expect you to come clean. I know you will. You're an honest man. You're a good man. You're an honest man. You must have at some point heard me waxing rhapsodic about the Tremolos. Man, I love the Tremolos. The Tremolos put out some badass stuff. Let's see if any of those songs that I love so much are on here. I don't know any of these. Interesting. I don't know any of these songs. Okay. Could be good. Could be good. If any of you people want to do yourselves a musical favor, I guess the hip, trendy thing to do if you're a curator is to go onto YouTube, look up a song called Let Your Hair Hang Down by the Tremolos. Let Your Hair Hang Down by the Tremolos. In fact, I'm going to type a comment to myself right here. Actually, I can't because the keyboard's behind the camera. But all you people out there who are internet smart, Let Your Hair Hang Down by the Tremolos. And if anything on this record is nearly as good as that, it's going to be as exciting as this album cover. Look at that album cover. What a great album cover. That is cover art gold. 24 karat gold. And this should also be on the yellow Epic label. Sure enough, and yes it is, the yellow Epic label. See, at this time in history, late 60s, early 70s, the major labels put out a lot of really weird, arcane, obscure stuff. Tons and tons of albums that were not hits, but were still darned good. I mean, more than I could probably ever look at or listen to in a lifetime. You know, it was a time of adventure. It was a time of taking chances. It was a time of signing unknown regional bands and putting out an album by them, or at least a 45. Dude, excited about that. Yes, Dennis, thank you for the comment. Let your hair hang down. You people need to hear that. And I need to hear this. All right, another blind grab here. I feel some shrink wrap. Okay, there it is. It's either right side up or upside down. It's either the front or the back. I got it right, but I don't know what it is looking at the back. I can't tell what this is or who this is. Ooh. Mack Taylor is bad news. He's bad news on the front, and he's bad news on the back. Looks like he's definitely worse news on the front. He actually looks kind of happy on that. I don't think it's such bad news, but yeah, bad news, man, on that front cover. I wouldn't mess with the guy. What label is this on? Superior Sound Studios. Never heard of Superior. Oh, I think we can tell what this guy's all about. Side 1 kicks it off right off the bat with a patriotic medley going into My Way. It's got City of New Orleans, Old Dogs and Children and Watermelon Wine, Polk Salad Annie. Yes, Love Me and Save the World. Where's this guy from? Hendersonville, Tennessee. All right, I think we have a a guy who sings for like a show band. One of the great lost genres is show band music. Bands who could tour, usually regionally, but sometimes nationally, playing cover songs. You know, and they were usually big bands with like horn sections and backup singers. And they would go and play Holiday Inns and Elks Lodges all over the country in places like Hendersonville, Tennessee, Jackson, Michigan, North Charleston, South Carolina. You know what I mean? Waxahachie, Texas. They would gig constantly doing mostly cover songs. And I'm really fascinated by this stuff. And it sure looks like Mack Taylor is one of them. So this could be good. My hope is that it's really bad. That's what I really secretly hope for at all times, is that Mack Taylor is like bad as in bad news. I want to hear some bad news. But if it turns out that he's good, so it goes. Then he's good. You can listen to it either way. The worst case scenario is that he's mediocre. That's always the real sad story, is when they are neither good nor bad. But we'll find out, Mack Taylor, and your probable show band, fresh off of your engagement from South St. Paul, Minnesota. Yes. Yes. All right, let's see. We got 2 more. We got 3 more, and one of them's a box. So very intrigued by this. Okay, here we go. Cold opening. What is it? Oh, man. Just looking at the back cover. Jimmy Velvet. Jimmy Velvet doing a touch of velvet. Boy, be careful. This guy wants to reach out and touch you. I don't want a touch of velvet. I do not want a touch of velvet. Liner notes by Dick Clark. It's on Dick Clark Productions. Means it is probably 100% safe, innocuous, harmless, maybe completely insipid, and maybe even stupid. Maybe all of the above. He's got his own theme song called A Touch of Velvet. I think he's pretty bad too, man. I think this guy is badder news than Mack Self, man, or whatever that guy's name was. Mack Taylor. What do you think? Is he badder news than Mack Taylor? It's got a song called Teen Angel on it. I doubt that Dick Clark would allow anything bad or wicked on his label. Velvet Tone, and it's from Nashville. My prediction is that it's this album and this music and that Jimmy Velvet is straight off the cob, which is to say pure corn. Correct me if I'm wrong. I will listen to it because I've been known to be masochistic, but anything with the name Dick Clark on it is probably going to hurt. Whew. Thank you, Dennis. All right, we got 2 more to go here. Here's the penultimate record from the Thrift Shop in a Box. Blind. That's what is it? It's upside down. There you go. It's Jimmy Rhodes doing the album, the fantastic, the incredible album, My Best for You. Oh my God, check it out. Not only is this guy doing his best for you, this was recorded live on location in Clifton's Cafeteria, which for 30 years is California's favorite family restaurant. Clifton's is well known for its policies. Pay what you wish, dine free unless delighted. Interesting. Very interesting. So this guy did an album recorded live at a cafeteria. I can honestly say I've never done that. Has anybody out there ever recorded an album in a cafeteria? Has anybody ever played in a cafeteria? That's pretty neat. Yeah, great. Look at that logo. Look at that label art. That's beautiful. That is 100% analog, hand-done, hand-drawn, hand-typeset label art, and I see it's a Capitol subsidiary. So Capitol did the custom pressing on this. Wow. I'm sure that any music done by a keyboard player in a cafeteria is not going to be too exciting, but I'm excited by this. This is great. They honestly don't make them like this anymore. I wonder how long Clifton's cafeteria lasted. Dine free unless delighted. No check too small. No service too great. No guest need go hungry for lack of funds. Wow, they probably lasted about 6 weeks. But God bless them for trying. Mike Lesser says, yes, he's played in a cafeteria. Bet you it was a school cafeteria. Am I right? School cafeteria? Yay or nay, Mike? And more importantly, since Mike used to sing for a band called Gay Cowboys in Bondage, was it the Gay Cowboys in Bondage playing at the school cafeteria? My inquiring mind wants to know. And Mike says yes. Please, Mike, if you will, give us 1 or 2 sentences just to let us know how that went. How did the Gay Cowboys in Bondage go over at the school cafeteria? I'm really curious. Extremely curious. All right. We're down to the gritty needy. We got the last record in the thrift shop in a box. And it's a big old box in its own right. You can see the spine. I can see the back. There's nothing on the back. So what's on the front? Well, gee, my monitor gave it away. It's a Jack Kerouac collection. Awesome. And it feels like it's on, and it sounds like it's probably on cassette. You guys know I love cassettes. Haha, there you go. How arcane and unusual is that? The Jack Kerouac box on cassette. Love it, love it, love it. Back at the time when the major labels figured they could make a couple of bucks off a boxed set no matter what format it was. And they would actually do something as audacious as a Jack Kerouac cassette set. With an obi, no less. In tribute to Jackhammer Records in the great country of Japan. They put an obi on it. That's really cool, man. Very cool. Dennis Hyland, thank you. That is what, like, if I walked into one of my local thrift shops and found all that, I would have called it a good day. I would have called it a damned excellent day. So thank you for an excellent day by mail. Thank you for running Jackhammer Records USA the way you do, and for releasing Anti-Scene's Great Disasters and our split with Before I Hang on CD and the Before I Hang on 10-inch. Thank you very much. And thank you for having good taste and for making Tent Talks Tunes a very interesting show. Very interesting. Yes. All right, gang, that's it. I'm basically out of here. That hour flew by like that. So, as always, I thank you guys for tuning in. Always fun to talk music with you guys and read your comments. I have to squint a lot of times, but it's always worth the squint. So, yeah, gang, I do fully expect to be back, Lord willing and the creeks don't rise, in about 167 hours' time. Until we meet again, this is Malcolm Tent saying so long from the Nutmeg State.